guys, this is Charles from our course. Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about verb tense. And so verb tense is one of the most kind of basic issues you will encounter on SAT grammar questions. So again, by kind of getting this foundation, it should really allow you to get, 4 or 5 free points. Again, I recognize an incredibly boring topic, but it is, I think, important just to review to kind of get this foundation. Because the issue, again, on the SAT is that it's going to combine verb tense with a lot of other issues like subject-verb agreement and modifiers. So just being able to kind of identify your basic verb tenses should allow you to kind of differentiate between those issues and, again, get a lot of those free points. Okay, so there are 12 basic verb tenses that break down into 3 periods of time. Just be aware when people talk about verb tense, they're really talking about tense plus the form. And as I alluded to in the title of this video, you need to keep it simple with these. And literally, right, most of the time you're going to be using just the simple forms of the verbs. I'd say about 60 to 70% of questions are just going to be using simple past, simple present, or simple future. So the first thing when you encounter a verb tense question, right, look for options that use the simple tense because the majority of the time that's going to be the answer that you will go with. So in addition to the simple tense, right, you will also have the perfect, progressive, and perfect progressive tenses. For most of these tenses, you're going to have a pretty good sense of correctness. So with verb tense, go with your guts. Again, the issue will be thinking about other subject-verb agreement issues or modifying clause issues that are kind of used in combination with these. All right, so next thing, keep in mind that when you do have these verb tense questions, you don't necessarily need to be consistent within the same sentence, right? And I've seen that in a lot of other, SAT material where they say, oh, look at the other verbs used in the sentence. That is terrible advice because the SAT will try and trick you with sentences that use multiple tenses. And so a very common example of this is using a combination of past and present tenses when talking about art, literature, or possibly some invention. So if we look at our example here, between 1942 and 1950, Isaac Asimov wrote the Foundation Trilogy, which is considered a seminal work in the science fiction genre. So notice here, when we're talking about when Asimov wrote the trilogy, right? That's kind of historical or biographical information about the author. We use the past tense because obviously that already occurred in the past. However, when you're talking about a conclusion or just a general statement of facts, about a piece of literature, right, those conclusions are still true today, so we would use simple present tense. Okay. So now let's just do, a quick review of these tenses. Again, I recognize incredibly boring. Just sit through it for 5 minutes, get this out of the way because it will be useful for other issues that you will encounter in the future. So simple present tense is just used for general statements of fact that are true in the past, present, and future. So for example, the speed of light is faster than the speed of sound. It's also used for habits, general everyday activities, like I wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. You're going to do it today, you're going to do it tomorrow. So just a general statement of fact, use that simple present. And again, of these simple tenses, which, are probably 60%, the majority of them are going to be simple present. So again, really look out for simple present. And it's the one, you're probably most familiar with just in kind of everyday speech. All right, now looking at present progressive. So present progressive uses a present tense to be verb and then an ing verb form. And so this is used for existing situations that are occurring right now. So I am already sick of learning about grammar. So you have that to be verb, am, and the ing verb. We've kind of added in the already sick of, but the simple sentence would be I am learning about grammar. Also used for activities in progress at the moment. They've already begun, are presently occurring, and will end at some point in the future. So I am reading about grammar at the moment. Or it is snowing outside. And this can also be used for ongoing activities that are still in progress over kind of a longer period of time. So I think this example, I am studying about SAT, can be kind of viewed in 2 ways, right? You're studying SAT right now by watching this video. When the video ends, you will finish studying SAT. But also over a longer period of time, maybe you're studying for weeks, months, possibly even years. So again, that activity could be done in the near future or possibly somewhat in the distant future. Another example of that, right? She's attending college, right? That's a multi-year process that will be done at some point in the future, but is occurring at this moment. All right, now looking at present perfect. So this will use have and then a past tense verb. And that's a little confusing because you see that past tense verb and you think that's got to be, well, a past tense. But this is used when a general event has already occurred and time is basically unspecified or unimportant. So like, I have read the book already. We don't know when you read the book, and it's not really important. Our second example here, I have never heard that song before. And this is what I mean here by like an event occurred or didn't. In this case, you didn't hear the song, but again, the time kind of frame there's unspecified and unimportant. Okay, the present perfect is a lot of times used for something during kind of this unfinished time period, and it will be paired with since or for. So like, I haven't seen her since yesterday. She has lived in the city for 5 years. And then finally, it's used for events that were completed in the recent past. So like, I have finished dinner and will come over there now. So you just finished dinner and you're now going to be going over there. All right, now looking at our present progressive. So this will use have, been, and an ing verb. And this is used to show events that are ongoing and started in the past. So like, I have been waiting for you since 2 p.m. Or you have been playing games for 10 hours. So this can be used for general activities in progress, also without a specific mention of time. So like, you look at this example, you have been playing games for 10 hours. We have that time mentioned, but you could just as easily say, you've been playing games. And then finally, it's used for situations basically similar to present perfect with an unfinished time period, once again used with since or for. So like, I have been living there for 5 years, or she had been working there since 2005. Oh, I think I missed an example here. So like, I have been thinking a lot about buying a new car. Again, that would fall under this category of a general activity in progress without that specific time mentioned. So again, that progress is kind of ongoing, and we don't know, any mention of like when that would have been. So we use that present progressive there. Okay, also one just quick note, you can see that word progressive there, and in the word progressive, you can see the word progress. So again, think these things are kind of ongoing events, and we'll see that with past and future as well. All right, now looking at our past tense, it's a simple past, right? Obviously just the past tense verb, and so this is for activities that have already occurred, meaning they have ended. So like, I graduated from high school last year, or when I asked you earlier, you answered yes. In this case, that second example, we use a when clause. So like, I answered yes when I asked you earlier, you answered yes when I asked you earlier. All right, now looking at past progressive. So this will use had and then a past tense verb. And so this is for activities finished before another past activity. So like, she had finished dinner by the time I arrived. So again, past perfect is used to show kind of the relative past of events, right? So like, I arrived, but before that, she had finished dinner. One occurred before the other in the past. Our second example there, everybody had left, so I decided to go home. So basically, I decided to go home, but before that, everybody had left. All right, now looking at past progressive, and this is used as a replacement for simple past, and to do that, you use basically a past tense to be verb and then an ing verb form. So like, I was studying until 10 p.m. last night. You could just as correctly say, I studied until 10 p.m. last night. The SAT is not going to have like two correct answer choices where one's past progressive and one is simple past. It's either going to be one or the other, but just keep in mind past progressive can kind of be used interchangeably in many cases with simple past. Past progressive is also paired with simple past when multiple actions have happened during the past, but one happened while the other was occurring. So for example, I was texting you when I crashed my car. Again, quite similar to past perfect, but again, you're kind of showing that one was happening, it was occurring, it was, again, in progress at the same time as another past event. And then finally, it can be used with two past progressive clauses to show events that happened simultaneously in the past. So like, I was watching a movie while you were eating dinner. Both of those events happened at the same time in the past. All right, and then finally, past perfect progressive uses had plus a to be verb and then an ing verb. So this is used for events that are occurring over a period of time and before another activity in the past. And you could also use past progressive for most cases. So like I had been waiting for you for 4 hours before I saw the doctor. If you wanted to use the past progressive there, you could say, I was waiting for 4 hours before I saw the doctor. Very, very similar uses there. Or a second example, she was exhausted because she had been training all day. Once again, if you wanted to use past progressive, she was exhausted because she was training all day. Very similar use. All right, now looking at our simple tenses, I should say future tenses. So simple future, we'll use will plus a present tense or going to be and then plus the present tense. So like I will call you when I'm finished, right? Probably the most straightforward simple future use. You could also use I am going to call you when I am finished. These could also be and usually are combined with like a time clause. So like, when I'm finished, I will text you, because we get that kind of contextual clue that something's happening in the future. And as you're answering questions, right, if you're, seeing, a time marker like that, something that's going to happen in the future, think, okay, I need to use, simple future like that. So another example, after she is done, she will go home. She will go home if you wanted to switch the order after she is done. All right, on to future perfect. This is used for events that will be finished before another in the future. And so future perfect, we use will not, won't, plus have, and then a past tense verb. So like before your birthday, I will have returned from Europe. So again, the birthday is going to be finished at some point in the future. But before that, I will have returned. So that event will be basically completed before this other future event that's going to occur, which in this case is the birthday. Another example, I will not have finished studying by then. So then is going to happen. We don't know what that's referring to. But before that happens, I will have finished, right? Okay, then finally, future progressive, we'll use will, be, and an ing verb. And so this is for events that will be happening in the future. So like I will be packing by the time you get back, or I am going to be working until 9. And that's quite similar just to the future perfect progressive, which we'll use will, have been, and an ing verb. And so this is for events that will be in progress before other future events. So like I will have been living there for 5 years by next October. So again, the difference between future perfect and future perfect progressive. Future perfect progressive, again, shows something that's kind of relative to another future event, and again, something that will be in progress. That's it from me today. Hope you found the video useful. As I mentioned, these verb tense issues are going to be combined with a lot of subject-verb agreement and modifying clause issues. So please subscribe so you can make sure to check out those videos. I will also try and link those in the description so you can make sure to catch those. After that, I will also be doing a video basically showing you how to combine all 3 of these issues and apply them to an actual SAT practice test. So that should be quite useful. So please make sure you check that out.